Hey everyone, today we're going to look at questions that you should ask your interviewer, and this is the very last video I'm going to be doing on the interview series. However, I will be making new videos on presentation skills and maybe even IELTS skills. So at the end of your interview, normally you will be given the chance to ask your employer any question you want, and you might think, why should I ask a question? Well, I think that a good question can make you stand out. And if you're a more memorable candidate, the interviewer is more likely to give you the job. Also, you'll definitely find out some new information about the job and you can see, is it right for you? Lastly, it makes you seem more enthusiastic and prepared. And we mentioned in previous videos about why this is a good thing. So you don't need to ask much. I think 2 questions is enough. However, if you are really curious and you think you've got a lot of good things to say, you can ask as many questions as you want. Just don't go too crazy on it. I think it's also best to not ask them yes or no questions. Just because you don't get a whole lot of information from them, you can ask better ones. So you want them to be specific to the role and also the company, and keep them open-ended. And the reason why we ask open-ended questions is to allow the interviewer to answer in different ways and give us lots of information. In general, I think as well, all your questions should showcase your motivation to do well in the company, as well as your interest in it, and even you can use it to show off the research you have done. So if possible, you can ask them questions throughout the interview when appropriate. This can be hard to do, however, asking questions throughout the interview, it makes it seem more like a genuine question and a genuine interest, and it can add to the conversation. But I would always say it's best to only ask the question after you've answered one that is related to it. So for example, the interviewer says, tell me about your strengths. You answer that, and then you could say something like, what aspects do you think are very important for this job? So the questions are related. Alternatively, because this is more difficult to do, you can always just wait until the end of the interview and ask all your questions then. That's no problem at all. And my last point here is that you should do some research into the company, as this can help you with any ideas of what you want to say and also help you with things that you should not say. So things we should avoid saying. We've learned how asking a good question can have a lot of benefits, but we need to be careful because if we ask the wrong ones, this can hurt our chance of getting that job. So I wouldn't talk about salary or job benefits, anything like that yet. This can be discussed later on after they have offered you the job, and then you can choose if you want it or not. I would also say don't ask a question about anything that can be easily answered by a quick Google search or looking at the company website. So this just shows that you have a lack of interest in the company, or you're just lazy and you haven't done basic research. So I have some sample questions for you guys to ask the interviewer. You can think of your own, obviously. These are just some ones that are quite general. So the first one here, what do you think are the most important qualities for someone to excel, so do good in this role? And this is a good question because it can give you information that may not be in the job description. So you're going to learn a lot about the job. And it will also give you some information about the company culture and if you will fit well, if the interviewer mentions that. You can also ask this question here, what is the company culture like? So you can use it as a follow-up to the last one if they only briefly describe the culture, or you can just ask it outright. And it just lets you know how well you'll fit in the company and if you think it's right for you. So these are the last 2 examples I will do. The first one then, what is the typical career path for someone in this role? So this shows that you have an interest in staying and working your way up in the company. We've discussed in previous videos about why this is a really good thing. Employers always want a long-term employee. And this can also give the interviewer a chance to tell you how promotions work in the company. If you have to apply for a promotion, or will they just give it to you if you're performing well? And then the last question we have here is, what are the challenges that the last person in this role faced? So this will inform you what to expect or what to face at the new job, Also, it can show that you're proactive and you want to know before you get the job, like how you can work better at it. And you can also judge the interviewer's response. So you can see if they're lying, or maybe they're holding back, maybe it's not a good job for you, or if they're being honest, then it gives you a good indication. So that's today's video. If you have any questions or suggestions, of course, just email me. Thank you very much for watching.